Okay, so today, without further ado, after doing two relatively long intros just because I wasn't sure what to watch the first time, and I was just trying to give an exhaustive intro and also test out this recorder, which is not the greatest from what I've heard on the playback, but it's good enough for now. I'm just trying out this format. You know, it's one of those things like I'm doing, I don't really care whether people like it or not, or watch it or not. Like how I did the Barbie reaction, it got like 20 views, which is cool, but, you know, for just a channel that I had just made, but it doesn't matter. Like, it'll be a long-term thing, and so I'll just do it. That's always my principle. I compensate for ability with time or commitment or availability. So if you do something on a regular basis, you make yourself sort of inevitable. So you should never go into something and say like, oh, I'm going to post one video or do like one thing and expect a response, even if it's good and even if it would end up building towards that, like a big channel or whatever, a career out of a hobby. You shouldn't go into your first thing and say, oh, I expect immediate validation. You just accept like, oh, we got 5 views, cool. Then I post one every single day for 2 years, and then, by then, it would slowly have built up into something. That's the way you can look at it. So I decided to watch actually Girls, mainly because I couldn't decide what to watch, and it just came to mind. And I guess you could say I'm a fan of like Allison Williams, or at least I've made fun of her or made memes of her over the years, like, just to do with her perfectly symmetrical face and things like this. Like when Megan came out, me and my friend were sort of clowning in YouTube comments and stuff like that. The real reason this movie was made is so that you can compare which is more perfectly symmetrical, Allison Williams' face or a robot's, and things like that. So obviously Megan herself, compare which one is more perfectly symmetrical. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll do sort of like a little fun challenge or gimmick with some of these series. In other words, on one hand, I'm going to judge the pilots of each of these that I watch very harshly. So in other words, if the pilot isn't good, I might just stop watching there on the spot. So it has to get at least a decent grade. I'll have like a grading system maybe that I use. So if it doesn't get at least like a C grade, right, on an A through F scale, C or C plus, if the first episode is worse than that, then, and I'll try to think of like what's an example of a show that still turned out to be good. I guess I just haven't seen enough, but that still turns out to be good, but just the first episode is bad. Even Seinfeld, people say that, although I don't think it's really a bad first episode, it's just kind of okay. Where like the girl comes from out of town and she doesn't say she has a boyfriend, so Jerry's being hopeful that, oh, she'll sleep over or something, and then when she does, she says she has a boyfriend, so whatever, that kind of setup. But no, if the first episode isn't good and gets like below a C grade, I'll do it like a movie critic, style, then I'll just stop watching there. And for this series in particular, I'll do it like one of those memes I was talking about, like, oh, watching the WNBA until I'm impressed, or watching insert blank here until I'm blank, right? Watching Amy Schumer until I find her funny, until I laugh, or something like that. So I'll do it here where it's like, I'll watch Girls until I get bored. So you can almost have like a boredom meter or something like that where it's like, I'll be borderline bored. So if it gets to the full scale, I don't know how exactly I can quantify or show that. So if I'm a little bored, then it's borderline like, oh, I'm about to stop, and I'll stop watching the whole series altogether and move on to another one. Because there's so many good ones out there that people would say, oh, why don't, of all the things I could choose to watch, when I've hardly ever watched any TV ever, I'm going to choose to focus on this one, lose my TV virginity to Girls rather than Game of Thrones, people would say, but I'm not ready for something that heavy or series yet. So I imagine this is going to be sort of a comedy / romance / drama, but I almost don't even think it will be comedy. So in that context, like a modern comedy series, I guess you could say, is like How I Met Your Mother. I've always praised that. I think it does have like sort of deeper themes to it, and it's kind of better than just purely some throwaway comedy. Obviously, you can go back to Seinfeld and Friends and things like that I've seen pretty much all the way through. And so I don't dislike them, but it's not really my style as much. It might also be more drama, romance, so I don't mind it. How I Met Your Mother had elements of all that too, so I can certainly appreciate it. It might be that same sort of template too, like, oh, it's like Friends, except for every character is a girl, or almost every character, and then they'll be like, although Friends is pretty balanced too, like you get 3 and 3 kind of. That was almost a progressive decision rather than like Seinfeld where it's just Elaine as the girl. So it could be the opposite of that, like where it'll be everybody's a girl except for one person or whatever, their love interest and things like that. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this. I know it's at least several seasons long, so it must have at least had a following and it's good in that way. And I'm always objective, like you might say, oh, it's meant for girls, because even the title would suggest that whatever, but I don't care. I'm not going to judge it like that. Is it good or isn't it? We can get invested in the characters, whatever the case may be. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and watch it and see if this is a good way to test out the template format. And again, I'm very open to like anything. You know, there's a lot of sports stuff on here. I don't know if I'll react to a sports game and you could hear the audio and I'll get banned for that or whatever, but I'd be less likely to do movies. I'll probably focus on shows. So yeah, this will be like a format that we do within it though, where every show has to sort of earn its keep. So if it's like a detective show, we'll do a format where I try to predict the killer, and if I guess wrong, then I have to stop watching. Or maybe not quite like that, although that would be pretty fun. That's like a permanent TV show. I have to guess who the killer is by like halfway through the episode or early on in the episode. And if I'm wrong, oh, that'd be awesome actually. Then I have to stop watching the show and I have to move on to the next one. So for this one, I'll do a boredom scale, or at least I'll play along with it. Whether I stop watching or not in the detective context, I could just say, okay, all right, I'm trying to come up with my theory, and I'm trying to, guess who the killer is ahead of time before the characters do or before they tell you, and whatever. Whether I succeed or not, you don't have to stop watching, but you do that as like a fun little mini game. So every series can have its own little thing to it. If it's a horror series, we can count the number of times I'm scared watching American Horror Story until I get scared. And like in a genuine scare, like not just a little whatever. So there's all these fun things that you can do with it in this sort of format and just template. And the kind of things you might do anyway, like if if I'm watching a detective series, I might try to come up with a theory and see, who do I think the killer is? And I might be right, I might be wrong, but yeah, let's go ahead and find this here. We'll watch season 1, episode 1 of Girls. I'll put like some sort of timestamp for sure, and or at least when it starts, and then I won't pause it. I'll just watch it straight. So my expectation is it's sort of more drama and romance and maybe a little bit of comedy, which again, I'm not against any of those genres, but they might not be my number one genre either. So you have obviously Allison Williams in here. I don't know who the other actresses are. Not like I don't know who they are. I just don't know who is in it. I probably do know who they are from movies or other things. And what else do we have? It came out in 2012. It's 6 seasons long, so that's pretty impressive. I mean, wow, like that is a lot. It can't just be some fluke. I mean, imagine all the series in history that don't last at least 6 seasons. Even The Mentalist, like one of my favorite shows, you could say is, it's only 7 seasons, and the last 2 are 4 and 5 are kind of throwaway, and then 7 is throwaway. 6, aside from the first 8 episodes being pretty good, is sort of throwaway. So like really, it only had 3 top tier seasons, and so it's hard, to keep a series going for a long time. It's easier with some format template type of things, though. Even like that procedural, you're going through the motions, solving another murder, so you're fitting within the formula and a routine, even if the bigger picture is that, you're trying to catch Red John, or you have some overarching story. So yeah, this will be a nice one to try, and again, I will watch the whole thing if I stay interested. So that boredom meter will be there, and it'll have to be a very specific moment where it's like, this is the moment that I lost interest. And I have some very good, clear examples of that with other series too, like in Psych. As soon as they're on the boardwalk, I remember that scene, it's like season 5 or something, maybe towards the end or somewhere around there. They're on the boardwalk, and like Jules, who's like the love interest of Sean, the main character, is like getting threatened or held hostage or something by Mr. Yin or someone who's like some major overarching criminal or villain, which the show didn't really have, right? It was mostly an episodic formula where every episode would have its own thing. And so this guy was like being introduced as like, he's going to be this overarching villain. And as soon as that happened, I just completely lost interest and stopped watching. Just that moment, not even like I kept watching after that. It just felt like, what am I, it felt like a retread of other things where like, now they're trying to introduce some big killer. I'm not saying you're not allowed to do that, but it felt forced. Like, maybe it's good, maybe I would still enjoy it, maybe I should finish some of those series, right? Like that I've watched most of, or I could rewatch some and things like that and analyze it a little deeper. But yeah, I could finish watching The Mentalist season 6 and 7. I could finish watching Psych like after season 5. I could finish watching How I Met Your Mother like pretty much the last season when they meet the mother. I think I stopped around there. But no, there'll have to be a moment like that I lose my interest. And it might be a ways in. It might be the first episode, we'll see. like I said, I'll judge the first episode super harsh. It has to really live up and get like at least a C+ grade. And then in general, at any point in the series, if I get genuinely fully bored, not like a little bit, not halfway, but like a full on the boredom scale, which I'll have to try to quantify somehow or give some visual representation, you'll see it like borderline all the way there, and then it'll be saved by something. But yeah, we'll use that format for this. Like I said, for horror shows, it could be I'll watch till I get scared. And for detective shows, it could be I'll watch until I guess the killer wrong. Actually, I was gonna say, no, I shouldn't do that. I should just do the theory for fun. But I'm intrigued by that idea, actually. So but then I'll have to pause it and come up with theories and stuff, because that'll be a lot. So if I guess the killer wrong in any episode, and it doesn't mean I can't make like a wrong guess early on, but it means like by like halfway through the episode or before the characters find out somehow, it'd be hard to determine when, they might give it away. But relatively early on, I have to guess it, I have to be sure, and that's it. And if I'm wrong, then I have to stop watching the show and I move on to another one. So there will be these sort of built-in permadeath formats to this. But this one's an easy enough one that it's not really up to me, it's up to the show. If I genuinely get fully bored, and again, I'm not going to be unfair to it, even because of the genre, just give me some interesting characters. Look, like I've watched Yu-Gi-Oh!, a show about people playing a fucking card game, not based on a card game in real life. In the show, they're playing a card game. It's a show based on a card game where they play the card game in the show, and it doesn't even follow the real rules of the card game in real life. Like, you have one job. It's like the Queen's Gambit. You have one job. Make a show about chess, and they don't even focus on the elements of chess. They completely skip major games. They don't show, there's no nuance to it. They just expect you to either know how chess works enough to compensate for their own lack of writing or interest in the games, or they just use it as a gimmick or a prop. So if I can sit through 200 plus episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh!, again, where it's based on a fucking card game and that's what they're doing, and not saying it's an exemplary show, but whatever, I did watch the whole thing because of the character interest. Kaiba's interesting, Bakura's interesting, all these characters are interesting. There are some elements to get involved with, even if it has major flaws, and even though it doesn't follow the game even correctly. So don't give me this like sort of genre bias, like, oh, I'd be biased against it because, oh, I don't like comedies or romance or whatever. No, it's actually a case where I'm completely objective, and if you give me something to sink my teeth in, especially particular characters, that would be the case. Oh yeah, Suits is another example. I watched like the first several episodes of that, and then maybe I got bored and stuff. I mean, I would have had to have, because why would I commit to watching like 6 or 7 episodes and then stop? I must have lost interest, where, whatever, the premise wore out its welcome. And then Person of Interest, similarly, I watched like up until whatever, I can't remember, but until like Elias is introduced, and a little bit after that, Veni Vidi Vici, that great moment where he's celebrating at the end of that episode, but pretty much a little bit after that, that was an amazing reveal. Not to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but I could watch maybe the rest of that, but somewhere along the line I stopped watching there, where it maybe became a routine with him as a major villain. This little stocky guy with glasses who's so much smarter and more dangerous than you would think. But no, that scene on the boat is actually amazing, where he's revealed, and it's like a whole twist moment. So here we go. Again, I'm not sure. Let me maybe read the synopsis here. I'm going to spend so much time doing this. So how long is an episode, though? That's the thing. Is it a 30-minute? It says like 32 minutes, I think, pilot. But no, 6 seasons is actually impressive. I didn't realize it would be that long. A young woman and her 3 friends, okay, so it'll be that sort of template group of friends format, struggle through their post-collegiate years in New York City in this coming-of-age comedy series. Okay, it does say comedy. I don't know why I wasn't getting that vibe. But we're starting now. Season 1, Episode 1. There shouldn't be ads, and I will watch the whole thing, or I won't pause it. There's one problem that I'm running into is the fact that the screen is tilting to the side, and we cannot have that.
Getting entirely out of control.
Or maybe this is an ad, which is fucking stupid, because if nothing else, it messes up my timestamps. But the ad aspect is supposed to be that I'm paying for premium so that I don't get ads. But this is fucked up. No, I'll have to... Man, I'm doing this while driving, and you're gonna fuck me over. I don't want the screen to go sideways because I can't put the fucking phone side. Are you serious, bro? It won't let me fix it. Okay, dude. I don't care even if the screen is smaller because I'm barely looking at it, but I don't want it to be fucking sideways either. So how do I go like out of full screen? Let me guess, there won't be a way to do it. just because it wants to fuck me over. Oh my god, like unmaximize it or something. I genuinely don't know how to deal with this then because it's like on a thing, on a little stand thing on my car, like how you put GPS, but it won't let me actually use it. Are you serious right now? Why would it force you to do that? So it makes the screen go like horizontal. Unless, oh my god, I'm gonna get in a fucking crash doing this. I can't do this. So I guess our plans get derailed again. But no, I was saying that I have a bias towards maybe watching more shorter episode series because, like, let's say it's less than an hour drive, or about an hour drive that I do every day or every couple days. So I'd watch like one episode per time that I drive, and so that would fit pretty well because then if it's an hour episode, then I'll barely be able to watch it. I want to have time to do an intro like this. I want to have time to do an outro, all those kind of things. And so you're able to basically do it. So I'm in a pretty unfortunate spot. I might actually have to pull over and try to figure this out because I have to just get the screen to go. Again, I don't care even if it shows it like halfway. Like, you know how they show it halfway at the top. Like, it's like with a YouTube video. If you go full screen, yes, it'll go at an angle. So you have to like turn the phone to the side to watch it. But if you're not in full screen, it'll show the video at the top and the comments at the bottom, and so that's fine. I don't care if that's how it shows me the screen. The only other way I can think of is if I turn my little stand to the side and it does it like that, which almost, maybe these things are meant to be able to do that, but I've never really thought about it like that. So I'll try to figure a good spot to stop here, and this is a little bit unfortunate. I don't know what the fuck I get myself into, man. Like, this is seriously what I have to do right now. I took my whole stand out, so I'm basically trying to put it sideways. I better just pull over though somewhere. I'll wait for like a gas station or something. Like, this is truly stupid. I'm not even doing this to like, oh, ham it up. Look at how stupid this is. Look at how I'm driving. Look at the React content. Like, I genuinely am just upset because this is stupid and I can't do anything with it and I'm just screwed. So let me see what I can do. Now this will end up wasting time too, so I can't figure it out. But yeah, whatever. We'll watch season 1, episode 1. Like, maybe I'll drive slow to compensate for the fact that some of this time has been wasted. This is like a comedy of errors beginning. I'll watch a series of unfortunate events, but I'm actually creating it myself. Is the fact that you're basically in a position where you're able to. I've tried like 3 times to do it. The first one was genuinely just meant to be an intro. The second one I was trying to do it, but I couldn't decide what to watch. Now the third one I've decided what to watch, but this clown show of a car setup thing with the Macs and everything is just not going to work. And so let me see how far I can go. But no, like this is what it's meant to be, almost like a radio type environment, and I hope that you won't be able to hear too much of the sound in the background. Maybe it'll be good if you can hear it sort of as a reference point, but I don't want to for the sake of copyright. It's not really something that I want to worry about. And so I guess I could use a headphone to guarantee that wouldn't be an issue, but I just don't like using headphones while driving, or it looks weird or whatever. And so it'll be playing like on my radio through like a Bluetooth capability. And obviously you will be able to hear it because this thing is also just a speaker, so it's recording everything. You can hear the sound of the car probably in the background. I'll try to keep the volume of the series maybe a little bit lower, to the extent that even for me, it doesn't have to be super loud. That's one thing in sitcoms that you don't really get, that you appreciate in other shows, like the soundtrack. There's usually just like the one soundtrack, like at the beginning or between scenes, how they cut away, like, you know, almost like a punchline type of music or whatever. But there's no like ongoing, you know, dramatic music or anything in even scenes like that usually, right, where you really get invested like that. That's something you appreciate in some of these other shows where they have like really great soundtracks. The Mentalist I'll bring up a million times, but it does have a really good soundtrack too. And Red John's theme is really good. Basically, if it wasn't for the ending, it would have been perfect. Or even if it wasn't for the fact that ultimately they drag it out so long, so it fails on 2 levels. The ending is unsatisfying, but they drag out the experience to get to the ending also too long. Season 3's ending is perfect. Like, every single episode of this, I would end up talking about that and how it lives rent-free in my head. But it's just, it's just correct. You know what I mean? Like, the season 3 ending was written in a good way, innovative way. It would have been a fine ending to that saga at least, if not the whole show. And they just were greedy. They wanted to milk it more. And so that's just fucked up. Yeah, this is a weird form of sort of react content that I've never really done too much before. But it's sort of, I hope my movie critic, review self will come out in the process of doing it, because of the simple fact that you're able to appreciate that. So now I'm having trouble really getting this, finding a place to stop here. But yeah, let's just make this another Just Chatting one, but I'll try to figure out something here in a minute. Yes, officer, why did I pull over to the side of the road? Because I'm reacting to Girls on HBO Max, and it won't play it in a windowed mode where I have to turn my phone. So you see I'm adjusting my stand so that I can do it, and so that I can properly react, and I just broke my fucking AC unit thing in the process. So this was a top-tier, funny, clown, scuffed setup moment, which I sometimes have because I go into things sort of unprepared some of the time. But at least here, so I've turned it sideways, and so now you're able to, I kind of had to break my thing to do it, or I inadvertently did. I broke sort of the stand thing that sits on, your phone sits on, again, sort of like for GPS purposes, so now it's sideways, which is okay with me if it stays there, but it's in kind of a, it's not really meant to be like this. And even now, this app is fucking fucked, because now it's turned that way, and now I have to go in and search Girls again, but I have to do it in such a way that it's at an angle, so now I don't even know. Yeah, this totally isn't going to be distracting or dangerous while driving, but it wouldn't be. Okay, now we'll start from the beginning. It only works in landscape mode too. I verified that, I looked it up. And so now please just let me do this, you fucking dumb shit app. I'm already kind of triggered, and so just go back to the beginning. Okay, dude, I can't even see whether it's a 0 or not. I mean, I maybe should have done this before in fact, I'll do it again. Like, this is utterly ridiculous, man. You could say that partly it's my fault for not being prepared, but partly it's just the fault of this shit. So ignore what's happening. I don't know whether this is going to stay in this position or not either. So it starts off with an ad. So as soon as the ad is over, whatever this is, something Girls in the Bus. Okay, there we go, start. Stay tuned after the episode for a look inside the episode. So at least you can match up the timestamp and everything, and I'll try to put some visual cue to show that. It's sort of partly blocked by my steering wheel too, but I mean, whatever, I can't be too picky about this. You can see kind of people are eating food. Nice little dinner scene.
Slow down, you're eating like they're gonna take it away from you. I'm a growing girl. Oh.
It's such a pleasure seeing you and seeing how well work is going. And
It's going really well, yeah. My boss said that he wants to see my book when it's done, which is really exciting.
where are you at with that?
Oh, well, I've done 4 of the essays, and I'm just kind of polishing them up, and my hope is that it's going to be 9, but it's a memoir, so I have to live them first.
I don't want to just leave it till the end of dinner.
I hear that. Hannah, your mother and I have been talking, and we feel that it may be time. How can I phrase it?
They're gonna
we
get
see how well you're
divorced.
doing at work, and you really seem to be figuring out what it is that you want. But it may be time for one final push.
What is a final push?
Or they're
We're
gonna
not
kick her
going to
out.
be supporting you any longer.
I
Oh,
wasn't going to phrase it like that, Lorraine, the way you phrased it.
But I have no job.
No, you have an internship that you say is going to turn into a job.
I don't know when.
You graduated from college 2 years ago with
Internship. This is like the Aubrey Plaza moment, where she's like pissed that she's an intern not making money
Do
for
you know
X
how
amount of
crazy the
time.
economy is right now? I mean, all my friends get help from their parents.
We are
Oh, she's talking
sympathetic
about
to
the
that.
economy's crazy. What fucking year are you
But
in, dude?
I'm your
Just
only
wait.
child. It's not like I'm draining all your resources. I mean, this feels very arbitrary.
You don't know anything about our finances. We're professors, Hannah. Professors.
Professors are underpaid. They're bitching.
Groovy lifestyle.
My groovy lifestyle?
This is one of the
Bills
girls,
are
obviously. I
covering
just
your
figured
rent,
that out.
your
No,
insurance,
it's
your
just.
cell phone.
You said
know.
it was cheaper for you if I was on the family plan.
Yeah. May I get you more of anything?
No, she's fine.
This is an entertaining first
Delicious.
scene. So the parents are overbearing.
This is nuts.
Can you help me here?
I could be a drug addict. Do you realize how lucky you are? I mean, it doesn't have to be heroin. It could be something more insidious, like pills, which are legal and which a lot of kids do all the time. And then slowly,
Sort of straw manning.
they become totally useless. They seem really high functioning, and then it just ruins them.
It's
okay,
an
my friend
interesting.
Sophie,
I almost would
her
like to
parents don't
pause it
support her.
at
Last
some point,
summer, she
but
had 2 abortions.
fuck it, I'll just talk
right
over
in a
it.
row.
But I'm not holding that against
And
the
no
show.
one came with her.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying that I am so close to the life that I want, the life that you want for me, that for you to just end that right now?
No more money.
Something must have happened too. They're being
Starting
dicks like
when?
no more money, but
Now. We can talk about it tomorrow.
I don't want to see you tomorrow.
What?
Well, we fly out Tuesday.
I have work, and then I have a dinner thing, and then I am busy trying to become who I am.
they're doing it very abruptly. So they either have ill intent or they're. See, it's a good intent, like, oh, we're trying to teach you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but to do it abruptly like that isn't a good thing. They're just suddenly saying it, but something must have happened to them, and they even said that line. You get the little title screen here. They said that line, you don't know about our finances, we're professors, so something must have happened. The guy made a bad investment, they're having financial issues. It didn't feel like, oh, we're just trying to help you. This will be like just an audiobook thing, like, oh, I'm gonna say this girl and a guy in bed together, but yeah, so they may be having financial issues. It's not just them being dicks, or it could be them being dicks, but it's very abrupt. And sort of my opinion on that idea. Copyright music, we gotta talk over now, at least Justified. That was a good, entertaining first scene, though. I like that.
Yahi.
Already?
It's a good thing to do, and I can respect it, but again, I wouldn't do it so abruptly as that. That's basically my position.
Good morning, Charlie.
Why didn't you wake me up? I didn't mean to sleep with Hannah.
Because you two look so angelic.
Victoria's Secret Angel, Fat Baby Angel.
Don't say that.
No way, you look awesome these days.
Please avert your eyes.
So it's two girls
That
living
present?
with a guy here, and
That for me?
Allison Williams already showing off her symmetrical face. Or you know what I heard about this?
Yes, guilty.
She had done some song based on some show like Mad Men, and that song is why part of the reason why she got
a kiss on you.
cast for this. They saw that.
Are you gonna leave your towel on?
Yes.
If I never see you naked and you always see me naked, which should actually be the other way around.
You are beautiful. Shut up.
I don't need that. I just see your boobs.
Well, you don't get to. Sorry. I only
This
show my
is
boobs
like
to people I'm
a
having sex
sensual
with.
You
shower
literally
scene,
slept in my
or
bed to avoid it.
what could be seen as that. So it's
You're
interesting
turn
what
the
the
corner.
target demographic is.
His touch now feels like a weird uncle just putting his hand on my knee at Thanksgiving.
What are you gonna do?
I think I have to end it.
You can't do that.
I have to. Why not?
Because he'll stand outside our window with a boombox, or he'll kill himself.
She sounds.
Hey, babe. Oh, whoa.
She looks
Sorry.
very different.
Just my
but that
girlfriend
is
here.
Allison
It's
Williams.
never
Williams.
just your girlfriend.
I'm just
here.
saying goodbye. I'll see you
Young.
later tonight. I'll pick up wine.
This is like 12 years ago, so
Big kisses.
she is like in her
What does
30s
it
now.
feel like to be loved that much?
No, I can't feel it anymore.
Oh no!
I know. I just.
Burn out of her relationship.
It makes me
But no,
feel
I
like
was
such a
saying like
bitch because I can feel him being so nice to me, and yet it makes me so angry.
I think you need to admit something to yourself, which is that you're sick of eating him out.
Ew.
Because he has a vagina.
guys are gonna watch this because of those sensual scenes, I guess, and then girls will watch it because of the actual drama dynamic element there. The acting is very good so far, though.
Bonjour, Remy.
Ça va?
Oh my god, you're so hip I could puke.
I'm having a little trouble hearing it, so you know, maybe I should put on closed
I love you,
captions.
Jean-Pierre.
So that would help me a lot,
skin is
even though I shouldn't be
beautiful.
reading while driving.
Can I
It's,
put my bags down?
Let me
What?
try to do
Oh my
it.
god, of course. You're like my favorite cousin. I'm the only one of my girlfriends that has a British cousin.
In the future, I should do that
How long are you gonna
because
stay for? I mean, not that
I want to keep it low, but I can't keep up what's happening, especially between the car audio, between the
You've been interning there for a year. You need to tell them it's time to get paid.
unwilling
Costs a lot of
to
money to look this cheap.
Aubrey
This is not a
Plaza
joke.
moment
If
count
you
two.
can afford
She
to
doesn't
pay
want to
your
be
half
an
of the
intern
rent,
from Emily the
Charlie
Criminal.
is going to move in here.
Modern
Don't pay
millennials
Charlie.
flow because they want to get
Didn't say
paid,
that.
but also
So I
you don't have
texted
to do
Adam
that
about
internship
tonight,
if
and I have not
you
heard
don't think
anything
it's
back.
worth it.
Hannah, look at me. He never, ever texts you back. Maybe I should call him. I mean, didn't you say texting is like the lowest form of communication on the pillar of chat?
The totem of chat. And no, the lowest, that would be Facebook, followed by GChat, then texting, then email, then phone.
Okay,
Face-to-face is, of course,
See,
ideal,
that
but it's kind
moment
of
was already like, okay,
Okay,
now
so
I'm
then how am I supposed
interested
to get him face to face if he refuses
Allison
to
Williams'
text me?
character. She's saying this. She has this
I
whole
just
totem
really
pole
appreciate
and
the welcome home
different
dinner. It's a very
hierarchy,
friendish
like
thing
my
of us to
fast
do.
food hierarchy.
What?
She's
I
got a
just know
good.
she's gonna show up late
good
wearing some
dynamic already
fabulous
going.
blankety dress from a Grecian marketplace and be like, oh, I can't remember where I got this.
I'm really glad that she's coming home.
But every time she comes into town, you go on some week-long bender, and then she leaves to go off to her next country, and I'm left to pick up the pieces.
Okay, it is so rare that I say this, but I just think she's fun.
Yeah, it was really fun when she fucked Carolyn's boyfriend.
I
She
gotta
didn't fuck
get
your boyfriend?
hang
It's
of the
because he was in
character's
Prague that
name.
semester.
Thanks so
I think
much.
for some reason I already know her
It's
name.
a
It starts
great
with an
deal for
M.
Nolita. I mean, $2,100 a month,
I don't know.
amaze. It's a little more expensive than the dorms, but Aunt Eileen thinks it's like the perfect bachelorette pad. I mean,
So
check the
right now I
poster.
really want closed captions.
Oh,
this is what's on my mind because I
I've never
can't
seen
figure out
that
how to
movie.
do them.
Only the show.
Some shows might not
It's
have
a
them,
show. Oh my god.
but it would at
You're
least
not
tell me the
serious.
character's
I mean,
names and help me clarify
don't
lines.
click
I
nothing
really
on
can't
Facebook.
keep up with
I'm
what's
not on
happening.
Facebook.
I'm not going to hold it against
so
the episode too
fucking classy.
much. That first
You know,
scene
you're
already
funny
pretty much sold it.
because
That was a
you're
great
definitely
first
like
scene.
a Carrie with like some Samantha aspects and Charlotte hair. It's like a really good combination.
Oh, thank you.
I think I'm definitely a Carrie at heart, but like sometimes Samantha kind of comes out. And then, I mean, when I'm at school, I definitely try and put on my Miranda hat. Where were you before France?
Before France, I was in Amsterdam. No, I was in Bali, and I was shucking pearls there. And then I met a surfer.
Oh my god. Does he like really like you? He like really liked you, right?
Yeah, he really liked
I
me.
assume these are all the main girl characters, and maybe one of them isn't, and we'll meet some of the other ones later. It says there's 3 friends or 4 friends. A girl and her 3 friends, I think is what it said. Like, who is even the main character? Is it Allison Williams, or I feel like
Yeah.
it might not even be.
Hello,
She's
Alistair.
one of them, but
Hello.
You seem eager.
As you know, I've been working here for over a year.
oh, she's making
Has
the
it
big
been that
announcement.
Well, you are an invaluable part of our operation.
Which I recently learned means very valuable as opposed to not at all valuable. And I wanted to let you know that my circumstances have changed and I can no longer afford to work for free.
That's at least fair. She's lost her parents' financing.
I'm so sorry to lose you. I was just gonna start you manning our Twitter. You have just the quippy voice for that.
Oh, no, I am not quitting. I just, I know that Joyland got hired after interning, so I thought that maybe...
Joy Lynn knows Photoshop. Now, in this economy, do you know how many internship requests I get every day?
I would assume a lot.
50. It's about 50.
This
I
is a
practically
good-
route them
good argument,
into my
though,
spam
because it's
filter.
like-
So, if you think you have just nothing left to learn from us,
No, it is not that, really. I just, gotta eat.
well, when you get hungry enough, you're gonna figure it out.
Do you
That-
mean, like, physically
know,
hungry
it's
or,
a
like,
very-
hungry for the job?
I am really gonna miss your energy. I think this is gonna be really good for you.
The thing is, like, yeah, this is such a desired internship. We got 50 applications today. So how
You
can
mentioned that
say-
when I was finished with my book, I could send it to you.
Well, we wouldn't have you here to read it for us, would we?
What was she doing? Like audiobook stuff? I'm not going to be following every element of it, but
Where are you going?
how she has like the
Will
right
you get me
voice
a
for
Luna bar
Twitter or
and the
something.
smart water and vitamin water?
That's a good like Gen Z little moment. Get me this and that. Get me a Starbucks coffee. No, I kind of like the sense of humor of this
Yo,
film.
hey.
And
Yeah, no, I'm actually just leaving in Francis that's, like, right by your house, so...
this character is kind of sympathetic, but
Yeah?
that is abrupt, right? Maybe they thought after years
Hey.
she should have been making money,
Hey,
but
Doll.
Doll, that's what my dad calls me.
Yeah, I know. He told me we're in the same circle jerk.
I just
You were nearby?
First ever
a couple
day.
references to creepy
Why?
family humor. That one
I
where
got
she
fired
says,
from
that's
my
what my
job.
dad calls me, but it's her
Weren't
boyfriend
you
or
an
whatever.
intern?
And the earlier one where Allison
I
Williams
was
says,
working there for a while, so I was
So
technically
basically,
an
they just
intern.
asked you to
it
not
sounds,
hang out
it
there
feels like
anymore?
my uncle touching me when
But I
my
was walking
boyfriend
over
touches me, or something like that when they were in the shower.
Honey, I was on my way over here and I was panicking, but then it occurred to me, like, I'm an English major. There has to be some kind
It
of...
doesn't matter. I was comp lit and it hasn't done shit.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you're an
have the
actor, so I'm
boy
sure he's,
be
like,
the-
comparing different literature.
Boy be your
Right.
provider here
I know.
now, entitled stimuli
Plus, some of this
argument.
woodworking
Oh, I
stuff.
can't say
Just
that
more
on here because
honest.
I'm pretending to not be.
no, that's
Well, it's such
awesome.
a
But what
well-known
about your
term.
flag?
Clearly,
Yeah, we're not doing it. That guy's a dick.
people would get annoyed by like
Is
how
it
much I'm
down?
talking, but it's like
Yeah.
I need subtitles first of all. Let me try to. There's always something wrong. Okay, so the position is always good. We're doing this to test it out. Okay, it's not like Girls is the most
So wait,
sought after
recently you
series
promised
ever.
that you won't
but
judge me?
I almost like to give a running commentary
Till
in these
yesterday,
contexts, like how
I
I
got
would
all
in
of
a
my
story
money from
game,
my parents.
like where I'm a character. So
Okay.
the character that I would play as an
That makes me feel
elitist
sick.
victim
I do
blamer.
not want to talk to me.
Oftentimes, that
No.
would be what people
I mean, I
would
went
call
to
it.
ship my
So I'm
parents
very
to
harsh.
Foods.
So like, yeah, you've
My
been
grandma
interning
gives
for
me
a year,
$100
you've
a
been
month.
carried your whole life by your parents, so now get a fucking job, work at a
So is
fast
like
food
that how you
place,
support yourself,
and pay
or-
through what you got to do, like what you would have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I supplement.
So look at the glass half full.
It gives
You've
me the
had all
freedom
the
that I don't have
support
to
all
be
your
a
life.
slave.
Now don't rely on
You
it,
should never
and
be anyone's
don't cry
fucking
and don't
slave.
rely on anybody else and figure it out.
Except mine.
You've had enough time to get there. There's a wake-up call. Not that I'm taking the parent side, but that would be.
Pretty frisky.
I'll
I really
bring out the
despise that
elitist
word. I
victim
hate it so much.
blamer thing. So now she's going to use her sexual. Look at her desperation. She goes to her internship and says, "Oh, pay me," and whatever. She makes that ultimatum.
I
Now
like you
she's
so
gonna.
much, I don't know where you disappear to.
What are you talking about? I'm right here.
Now she's gonna use her sexual appeal with her boyfriend or whatever to try to get him to pay
It's
for
so
shit.
funny that it's still light out, but it's getting dark a lot earlier these days.
Is this some of your poetry?
Don't be a jerk.
Who, me?
So they're already placing an increased emphasis
Do you know
on
that
sexual
part on your
scenes and
resume
things
where
like
they ask
that,
you to list
or
all of your special
what could be
skills?
I haven't applied for a
potentially.
job in a long fucking time.
Okay, well, it's the thing where they ask you to list, like, yoga, Spanish, power skiing, Photoshop. I feel like I don't have any special skills.
They're already
There's something
poking
you can
fun at
do.
Photoshop.
What?
But first, I have to see if you fulfill all the requirements.
What are the requirements?
Lie in the stomach.
Innuendo, dirty talk. Like, look,
No.
this can
Yes,
be fine,
no.
but I don't know if we
Wait.
need to see this in full form here.
You're not a career woman. I know what you like. You think
Yeah,
you
like
could just come
useless
in
degrees,
here and talk all
ranking,
that
philosophy
noise?
number 1, English number 2,
No.
something else number 3. But I feel like this might actually be too loud too, so this is another reason to try to do the closed caption. I don't
What did
actually
you say?
see closed
Grab your
caption
legs.
option anywhere.
Okay, this is good. I'm gonna go get some lube.
Why do we need to get lube?
When I get back, I want you to do the exact same position, but take all the rest of the shit off.
Will you get a condom?
I'll consider it.
No, don't ask for a condom. She's saying, well, you got a condom. No, get child support. That'll help save you right there. Or the fact that you're pregnant gives you an excuse not to work, right? This is the way people think. Cynical, zero-sum means everything is just about money. So she's going to get anal here. We don't need to see this, though. I wasn't expecting it to be like this. We get the point.
Really hard.
You don't need to show this, dude. But yeah, all relationships are de facto prostitution. There's always something to gain from it, whether it's money or you could look at it like that. Marriage is a form of prostitution to the extent that there's some sort of exchange of sex and money and something in most
No.
cases.
Wait, you are, right?
Yes.
Okay, because when you said the thing about lube, I swear you were going to try to do that. Please don't do that. That feels awful. Thank you.
I don't know if this is something you do regularly, but they sort
That's
of...
the right spot.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I can just stay like this for a little while.
Yeah.
Do you need me to move more, or like?
What?
I just didn't know if you wanted me to like be more like that.
Oh no, this is fine. You're doing great. This is all you need to do.
They're doing it very
I'm sorry about the wrong
casually.
whole thing. I don't want to do it now. If we did, I just want to talk about it and like just figure out what. It's just not comfortable for me.
Let's play the quiet game.
So you're not mad at me.
No, I'm great. Great guy.
You know, it'd be crazy.
Very
What would be
awkward
crazy?
conversation where it's like their first time doing it, or it's like her
Just
first time
got
ever doing it.
Crazy, right here, right now. We can just do that. I mean, no, nobody's stopping us. Nobody's home.
So this is
What would turn you on the
Alice
most
and
right
William. Back to that. So these are
What
the
would
main
turn me
two
on the
girls.
most?
So
What
she's
would turn you on the most?
To turn you on. That's what would turn me on. Let me do that.
so she's trying to break up with the guy.
What if you were a stranger?
Oh, God.
Right? Like
Stranger.
what if you were just like a totally different person? You didn't.
Role play as
Act
somebody
like
else because I'm sick
me.
of you. Good one. That's what she wants.
I think Jess is here.
Oh, no, I think that might be Ray.
You invited Ray?
It was gonna be like a 4-person party.
It's called dinner.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
He's like an eager
That's all
beaver, and
pictures.
she's a little cynical type.
What do you do all that?
Oh, there's like nudity and stuff.
There
I
are
wasn't.
illustrations from children's books.
I'm not against it, but this serves no purpose to the story. Like, I don't need to fucking see all this, and I guess I don't, because my eyes are on the road anyway. Get in a car crash, because I saw Allison Williams
You want one on
doing
your ass?
something. Having
that
anal
one my
on
friend
girls,
Jessa did
episode
suffer
1.
here with a safety pin. It's a snake wrap.
I'll get in trouble because you can't publicly show nudity, and people can see it through the window in my car from the back, and the cop will pull me over.
Why?
You can't show nudity. I'm not trying to, but
Truthfully, I gained a bunch of weight very quickly, and I just felt very out of control of my own body, and it's just this like riot girl idea, like I'm taking control of my own shape.
so what we need here is the ability to. Let me see if I
You
can
know, I was fat in high school.
get the
Really?
caption
Yeah, but I didn't draw all
somehow.
over myself.
There's an option for whatever. There were 17 minutes left
You're
in the
not that
video.
fat anymore.
We
You
get
just
through this
lasered
one,
it
and
off.
I'll try to figure that out for the next one. So there's always an iteration on my formats. This is fine. But no, it's not bad. I'm not bored. I dislike that one element, so we'll give it a proper grade at the end. But that's the one element I dislike. The characters are
What time is
decent.
it?
Some of the story themes, the humor.
About
I like the
45.
boss character. I like the parents
so
and that
late
whole
for this dinner
interaction.
thing.
Allison
Seriously,
Williams
this
is
is really,
pretty
really
good
nice.
performance so
Really good
far,
to see you.
and the other actress is good too. I don't know who she is, but
Made me feel a lot better. So.
no, they're already
Excuse me?
sort of exploiting the sexual angle that you don't
Yeah,
need
just
to do.
text me.
You remember in episode 1 of Seinfeld where Jerry has anal sex with somebody and they show them nude? Oh wait, they don't. Like, it's a different kind of show, sure, but you know
it's
what I
not
mean.
the
Like, it
commandment,
doesn't
but
have to
generally
be.
speaking, like as a general rule, I try not to date women that are under 25 or that have been at one point in their life penetrated by a drummer.
One time.
Guilty of both. But I was walking through the mall this morning and I just see these two huge green orbs bobbing through the mall. I mean, look at these eyes.
It's
Have
through
you
my
seen those
eyes. He's so nice to me.
Ridiculous. Look at those chicks on there. Look at those lashes too. Have you seen these lashes?
Guilty as charged.
So it'll take some time to get used to who these characters are, but
Okay.
Yeah. I just can't believe Hannah didn't show up.
We're here, living it up, partying down.
I didn't mean to be rude. I'm just not really into eating this week.
Hannah was the one saying this was our big reunion, and now she's nowhere to be found.
Are you worried? I mean, should we call someone?
No, especially because I know exactly where she is. She's off having gross sex with that animal.
In what way?
Allison's
girls?
like a little bitchy here.
Charlie would like to at least
Showing
hear
that.
about some sex.
Excuse me.
Like, Ray's just being, like motivational. I mean, come on, at least you don't have to entertain
This guy's so
Jessa.
positive though.
Yeah, because I didn't get to entertain anybody because no one came.
They're talking shit. She's being negative
Yeah,
Nancy,
she
and
sounds
he's being
British.
so
So I ordered a
positive
few hookers.
at
if
an
you guys don't
insult.
mind. Bulgarian girls, top shelf. Nice girls.
He kills me, I swear to God.
I could have like a character
Mommy.
point system. So, oh, that's a good idea. Actually, I used to do that in story games.
Blah,
So, Allison gets a -1 there, right? And that guy, her boyfriend now currently, would get a +1 because he was so positive in the face of an insult.
If you're a
Right.
francophile like me and you, obviously,
Yeah.
then you've got to go to France.
The other chick was like maybe neutral because she's entitled by my least we can blame her standard, but also the abruptness of it cancels that out.
It is.
We really want to travel more. We could just go.
So then we'll see at the end of each episode what the character point total is, and by the end of the series who's like the winner, the best character, worst character. But she seemed very bitchy there, even if it's justified. Hannah maybe gets a -1 for
What's going on?
being late to the party.
She smells like sex.
No, but you showered this morning.
So I calculated, and I can last in New York for 3.5 more days, maybe 7 if I don't eat lunch.
I'm gonna find you a job worthy of your talents.
Well, I appreciate that, but I don't know how you're gonna find a job fast enough to work at like McDonald's.
You're not gonna
Yeah,
work
work at
at
McDonald's. And she
What's wrong with
suggested
McDonald's?
the
You should work at
idea.
McDonald's.
Like, why not? Do
great.
what you got to do.
It's fucking incredible. You know how many people McDonald's feeds every day? You know how many people it employs around the world? Plus, they make
Oh, look at
incredible
this guy.
product. Okay,
Being
it
a
tastes
McDonald's
tremendous.
propagandist.
It's affordable. It's fucking consistent. I can walk into a McDonald's in Nigeria, order chicken McNuggets. When I bite into it, you know what it's gonna taste like? It's gonna taste like home.
That doesn't mean I have to work there. I went to college.
Yeah, I went to college too. You know where it left me? I have $50,000 in student loans. That's how deep in debt I am. I'm sorry, but watching this is like watching Clueless.
The movie or the
Oh, this
TV
guy's
show?
being a bit of
What
a.
are you doing?
Who needs the
What are
latest
you doing over there?
victim
making a little
blamer?
brew.
He's saying the same thing.
tea,
Watching
opium
Clueless,
pot.
we were
cool.
too
So you brought
lazy, and
opium into our
I don't want to keep quoting
Well,
what
this
they're
is
saying.
this
but-
stuff's pretty mild. This is much milder than the stuff you smoke. It's legal. I got it down at the flower district. You can just go there and buy the pods.
Is it cool to have a little?
Knock yourself out.
I hate opium.
Oh yeah? What's your thing? Coke?
No, never do coke. Every time I do coke, I shit my pants.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I feel like there's supposed to be a fourth girl
What does it
that
taste
maybe we
like?
haven't met yet.
Twigs?
Am I missing one, or?
Yeah, I'll have some.
Maybe you shouldn't. You're super sensitive to drugs.
I think I'm gonna be fine. Okay, hand it over.
Somebody's gonna get addicted to drugs. That could be a storyline, plot line.
This does not taste like Twix.
Not Twix, twigs. Twigs, like small sticks.
He's tasted small twigs and baits you by saying, making it sound like twigs.
If you're gonna vanish, you have to call, okay?
Yeah. Okay. I want to go back in there.
No, you can't. I need to talk to you first. All you need to do is talk to your parents, okay? You need to ask them to support you for a little itty bit longer, just while you look for another job.
So
And tell
Allison
them that
gets
you
a
take
plus
your
one here.
future
She's being the voice
seriously.
of
Because you
reason.
do.
Talk to your parents again.
Does Johnny have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Marnie was just saying that she feels like I need to go and talk to my parents and ask them to support me until I get a job.
There'll be some sort of
Why
trope
don't you
where
just tell
the
them that you're
girls
an artist?
outnumber
You
the
just need to tell them once
guys in
and
every scene
for all
ever, or
that
something
you
like
are.
that,
Just
right?
tell
So there
them
were two guys,
You're
but there
gonna
were
get a job. That's much
3
more
or 4
convincing.
girls.
Tell them you'll get tuberculosis in a garret if you have to. Tell them it's what Flaubert did.
Flaubert is not a good role model, and have you met her parents? You can't just do the artist thing.
Tell them that Picasso did it. Rappers who were poor and sold their tapes in the street did it.
Now we're gonna
What
sympathize with the
Elvis
parents.
did.
Something
It's what
happened.
Mick
They're
Jagger
going
did.
through some
It's what my
difficulty.
stepbrother did. They all stuck to their guns.
I need to go.
You just drank an entire cup of opium.
You are gorgeous and a vision. You are a brilliant genius. Both of you are sex goddesses. When I look at both of you, a Coldplay song plays in my heart.
Wow, that was quite the line. What the hell was that? She goes on like a whole tangent. When I
Seems
look
like
at you,
she's in such a good place.
a Coldplay song plays in my heart. They're both just speechless. It has a good certain level of writing to it. There's no laugh track, so I appreciate that. But some of these could easily be funnier
Oh, hey, what the heck are
than
you
lines
doing
that
here?
do.
I thought you didn't want to
I hate laugh tracks. I've always criticized them in other shows,
Actually, I
comedies.
couldn't bear the idea of not seeing you before you left town. But more importantly, here, you can sit down. And
Oh,
say,
now
"I'm
she's gonna
sorry."
guilt trip them
Is that I brought
that
you
she's leaving town.
my book? I need you to read it.
This could be a +1 gambit by her.
Jesus.
Great.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Are you boiling?
great. We'll read it on the plane.
No, now. I need you to read it now. Because I don't want to freak you out, but I think that I may be the voice of my generation.
She's
Or at
gonna
least
act like
A
overconfident.
voice of a generation. Well, just read. Don't be scared. Just enjoy it, because there's going to be plenty for us to talk about after. Just go for it. I need to talk to you.
Alright.
I do not like
We just went to Hunter.
There's a lot of casual
Oh,
nude
honey.
scenes.
I guess I just don't understand the problem. She seemed ready.
She had just gotten high.
I'd like for you to see a real high person. Honey, you can't mother her like that.
I'm not mothering her. I'm literally preventing a disaster from happening.
They need to say their names more so I
Have
can
you
learn
even
them.
read
That's
her
a
novel?
It's a
trope.
memoir, and of course I've read it. I'm her best friend.
Best friend. This is my best friend. You know, we don't own anybody.
Maybe you don't respect what a best friendship means because you've never stayed in one place long enough to have one.
Honey, I can't help your feelings.
Marley.
Maybe you can
She's
help
very,
me 2
bitchy
hours late to a
sometimes,
dinner party
assertive,
that was thrown for
dominant.
you. My God!
2 hours?
Yes.
When was dinner?
7.
7.
I thought that was just a suggestion. Okay, I'm sorry we don't eat at 1 in the morning, but we don't live in Barcelona.
Maybe not 1, but 10. 10's reasonable.
So she's
See,
a
this
nomad.
is what you do. You
the
act
person
like I'm
she's
uptight,
talking
and
to.
then I follow suit. I become uptight. It is the most frustrating dynamic on the planet. It drives me crazy. I can't stand it.
Pregnant. Alright? I'm pregnant.
The girl is pregnant,
Who you think?
who travels around the world, whoring around possibly.
I have to tell you something, you two. You guys are so beautiful.
That's a high person.
It's very funny stuff.
That's a good
Marnie.
punchline. That's a high person.
Hannah, you're a
That's
very funny girl.
like guilt tripping them into reading the thing. Not a bad scene. So I'm not bored at all during this episode.
All I am asking
So
for
it's
to
it's
finish
gonna
this
pass
book
because it's
is
almost over.
$1,100 a month for the next 2 years. That's insane. You would say it's insane. Who can live in New York on $1,100 a month? But I am so committed to this book that I am willing to get pretty thrifty on this.
Why don't you get a job and start a blog? You are so spoiled.
Yeah, it's a fair point. They're
Your
accusing her of being
father.
spoiled.
This is making me so unhappy.
Just get a job, go to
I've had
McDonald's.
such a horrible
Oh,
feeling.
we're not WAMU, Hannah. And the least you can do is sit up straight and...
See, it's
Hannah?
partly your fault that you
Hannah.
get
I'm
to.
taking it, but I was just having such a bad day.
Take what? What did you take?
Is she sick, Dad? Do I need to call a hospital?
Think
Just
she
like
may be high.
you spoiled her in the
like
first place, you
flowers.
just have to
Angry
do
about it.
that.
I was really
You
curious.
created the
What
process,
did you
you
smoke?
created
It's
the
opium
expectation.
pot. It's like a tea
You
of
should,
opium
uh,
pot.
Google
I
that.
don't need to Google that. I know about that. Ted about the smoking banana peels. For Christ's sake, let's just order her a coffee.
Coffee's for grown-ups.
You're gonna drink a strong cup of coffee.
I am 24 years old. Don't tell me what to do.
This is a real display.
No, this is the immediate result of a cold approach. You can't just
Oh
pull the
shit, what
rug
if we have
out
like
from
some
under
sort of
it.
detour and then I'm not using my GPS because I'm listening to this shit? That would be a heck of a thing
Played
to
by a
happen.
major fucking player.
I know, but it's hard for me to watch her struggle.
My skirt feels so tight. Maybe you could just cut it open with a scissor.
It's like watching her get her shot.
Shots keep people from getting sick. I want a lake house. I work hard. I want to sit by a fucking lake.
You deserve it.
Die. Like Flaubert, like Garrett. Don't look at me.
Now it's kicking in where she's actually high. Allison didn't get to see that one. They're like, oh, this is a high person count too. So I could do a whole character point system. So Allison gets like +1 for her leadership and advice with that girl in the bedroom, telling her to go talk to her parents, which is why she did, and then she gets like a -1 for being bitchy, so maybe that evens itself out. That's the main notable one. The other dude gets a +1 for being so positive in the face of an insult. I like that one.
Service?
He seems like a good guy.
Okay, so the account is totally closed. If they've checked out, they can't add anything. Okay, no, yeah. Got it. I'm leaving right now. Thank you.
So yeah, she's struggling for money. Go get a job, work at fucking McDonald's, dude. We've all done it. Just relax. It's not the end of the world. You complain about living in New York City, but proportionally you get more money there too. Like, it all evens out. There's this fallacy like with California. Oh, you make more money in California, but you also pay more because it's a fucking shithole Democrat-run state. It was your fault for living there. Go move somewhere else. Like that one chick who's traveling the world and getting pregnant. Do what you gotta do. Start an OnlyFans before OnlyFans existed.
Oh, girl, when I look at you, I just want to say,
pics online. There's so many things you can do.
New York.
Do it with some nuance and creativity. I hate people who make excuses. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm actually kind of lazy a little bit. I always use that as an example. But even being lazy, I still can get shit done. Like, don't make excuses, dude. I'm never gonna buy that perspective. So anyway, it's a good first episode. Bring out the lead victim blame roleplay. Bring out the character point system. And so the only thing I'd want to see is for episode 2, I want to see closed captioning. Would be pretty important. I don't know if it's going to have that. It didn't seem like it had it, and I don't really want to play this music for the copyright potential. So that's the only thing that was missing. There was a closed captions to compensate for me talking over every single thing. But I guess that's the point. Like, I enjoyed it. I certainly don't hold that against it. I'll give it like actually a B or a B plus because it was good. It's intriguing. It didn't like grab you at the highest level, but it certainly was engaging. I'm interested by the characters. I'm interested by, we find out one girl is pregnant. We find out Allison's trying to break up with her boyfriend. We find out, about this girl struggling to lose her parents. So every girl had a storyline, right? The one's traveling the world, gets pregnant, probably some other things that I maybe missed. One is obviously trying to break up with her boyfriend, a little bitchy, Allison Williams. One is trying to deal with her parents not paying her money anymore in a bit of an abrupt way. And so now you have to deal with the fact that you have to earn for yourself. The male characters were only like really sketchily developed, so it's kind of ironic. That's how often sitcoms are criticized for, you only sketchily develop the love interest of whatever, Seinfeld or somebody, just as a joke and just a one-off joke. Like, oh, she has big hands and that's all we know about her. And every scene revolves around that. One sort of, what you see is what you get with old school comedy, basically. But here it's almost the opposite, that you had that sort of awkward anal sex scene. So that's what holds it back from maybe being an A or an A plus. Instead of having those gratuitous scenes, of the anal sex where they're actually showing it, or the scene of the the shower, and they're sort of milking those elements a bit. So I'll give it a solid B, or maybe a B. I maybe won't worry about the minus and plus so much, but it gets like a B. It is interesting. The characters are interesting. You kind of want to see what happens from here. I'm not sure what the bigger arcing storylines are going to be, though, to carry like a whole 6-season show. But the boredom scale didn't even reach halfway. I was engaged, so that's a good, successful pilot. No problem with it. They show some of these gratuitous scenes, the sex, the shower stuff. Again, I'm not objecting like, oh, there's something wrong with it inherently. Just like it doesn't serve a purpose, and it did feel just like sort of needless. Even if there was like sort of a funny, awkward moment, or what could have been. I didn't really find it funny, but people might. The whole anal sex with how she seemed so awkward with it, and just like they're doing it almost for the first time. The first scene was pretty good at the restaurant with the parents. That's a good way to start. So the direction in terms of pacing and all, that's good. The whole storyline with the book could be interesting, with her trying to publish the book. What else? The scene with the boss, the way they're showing parent-like characters is pretty fun. Like the girl's parents who were telling her she can't. I'm not going to know the names necessarily. I think Marley was the girl's name, though, the Allison Williams girl, and then the girl's name is going to be really specific in the show, consisting mainly of girls, but even called girls for that matter. But no, the boss and the parents were portrayed in like sort of this bureaucratic, benevolent sense, where like they have a point and they're not purely evil and bad and just doing it for that reason, but they have a point. This is a prestigious internship, so how could you expect to be paid? And so it's your choice, and you've learned experience, and you should be able to use that experience to get a job or whatever. It's a two-way street. If you don't think it's worth your time to intern, then don't intern and just go get a job. Oh wait, you're not getting a job that you like or that's paying you enough, so then you expect to intern to try to get experience. So I'm not in favor of unpaid internships. I just think don't do them then, and find some other way, or do something where this is like, okay, I'll use my personal experience. Me and my friend worked in this sort of I won't even say what it is, but we worked in a field where we both got paid less than what we felt we deserved, but we still got paid, right? And then over time, based on our performance and promotions and things like that, I ended up making a little more. So then I felt like, okay, that's what I basically deserved from the beginning, or what I deserved with years of experience and stuff like that. And then my friend ended up making a lot more because she's more motivated and very good and whatever. So the point is, okay, let's hypothetically say she went from making $50,000 to $200,000 over the course of several years in high performance and promotion, things like that. And then I go from making 50 to like 80 or 100, right? Let's say hypothetically in that field. So it's based on your performance, but at least you're going in with a base like, okay, you're making 40, 50, right? Even with college education, things like this on your side. So that's the way to look at internships. Get a job that doesn't pay you maybe what you want, right? Entry level, but then expect, okay, you're gonna, if you do well, if you're motivated, you can move up the ranks. That's usually how it is, because you can't expect, oh, I'm just gonna go in and make 100K or whatever, just arbitrary figures that I'm using as examples, with no experience in the field. Even if you have a college degree, it's like, okay, but you have to learn and work in the industry for a few years, whatever it is, and then you earn your stripes, and then you get paid relative to your experience within the field. So I do think that expectation is sometimes wrong. Like, oh, they're only paying me $40,000, $30,000. I'm a college graduate, but you make that for a few years, and then you get promoted and work your way up the way that everybody else has to. And see, I'm even objective and deferring, like, okay, so I'm not that hardworking and I'm not that outstanding, so somebody in the same position might leapfrog me, and they are making $200 in the same amount of time that I'm only making $100. And in fact, I was senior to her in that hypothetical example. I was like, basically she, I was above her, and then she ends up leapfrogging me, and it's like, look, dude, she's good at what she does, so I don't mind it. And I'm even deliberately at times in life, like, I've been laid back, like, okay, I could have done more, I could always be better at what I do, but I just kind of, I value sort of just peace and quiet, and like, I don't want to overdo it, and there's always a balance, like, oh, you're a doctor and look how hard your job is, or whatever, you're making six-figure, you're a lawyer, look how stressful my job is. But at the same time, nobody feels bad that it's stressful because you're making a commensurate amount of money to how stressful it is. And if you think it's too stressful, then don't do it. To do something easier, like, oh, work at McDonald's, not saying it's that easy, but whatever. Work at McDonald's and make less money, or do the job that you're doing that's much more stressful, in your opinion, that you're saying, but then make more money relative to it. So it's a trade-off, right? Nobody's forcing you to do that. Do something, so I'm middle of the road. I would want to make it, okay, a decent amount, whatever. I'm not a big spender or anything like that, but make a decent amount of money in the middle, right? But then do something you enjoy or that's not too stressful and too taxing, rather than, so you can ask me that. Would you rather make $100,000 for something that's really stressful, high octane, full energy, full commitment, over the top, outstanding performance? Like my friend's a good example of that I was saying, no, I wouldn't be that person. And would you make $30,000 and work at McDonald's? No, that's not good enough. So I'd be somewhere in the middle, like, okay, I'll make 50, 60 with a college degree, doing something that is maybe a little bit beneath myself, like, oh, I'm a little overqualified, or if I worked a little harder, I could make more, but I don't really care because I'm kind of content with it. And so I'm happy with that. 50, 60 is good enough for me, or whatever, at that time. And I'm just using hypotheticals, like, we don't need to get too specific into it, but that is the perfect example. So how objective is that to say, like, it's not a zero-sum process? This is what people have to understand. It's not a zero-sum process. I could make more, I could have made more if I wanted to, if I really wanted to, but I didn't care enough, and it didn't matter. Like, I was happy, I'm making enough, what's the problem? Right, you're balancing your peace of mind and your lifestyle, and, I'm laid back, I don't really care, I just want to go home and play some video games after work, I don't really want to, stay overtime. Like, just, you have a nice sort of vibe going, and you're still making a decent amount of money, you've still been to college, you've worked your way, you've done what you had to do. So this is why I don't sympathize with people. It's always New York City or fucking California too. Like, dude, these people, oh, it's so expensive to live here. Then don't fucking live there. Like, oh, well, I can't afford to move. But you can afford to live there. So sacrifice 1 month's worth of living there to travel somewhere else where it won't cost you as much in the long run. Move to Texas and get a job at a gas station and, like, make it happen. That's not me being unsympathetic. It's like, what do you expect? What do you expect the world to do? Like, now again, the parent thing, again, I don't know how to quantify that, but at a certain age that does happen. I think the main problem with them is the abruptness of it. I'm just sort of showing you my philosophy on that, and so I'd be more on the parent side, but again, I would have done it much more gradually. It seemed like one of those things that came out of nowhere. See, we don't know their history. Maybe they hinted at it before, maybe they had this conversation before, and it was brushed off. But to do it abruptly like this is a little bit, I think, wrong, right? Just, or like, here, I'll give you an extra 10,000, whatever, I'll give you an extra certain amount one final time, and then you're on your own. So I'd say, okay, I'll give you 5,000 more, which will last you like 5 months at the rate that she was saying. It'll cost me 1,000 a month, and even that's low. She had a nice little reverse psychology line. So I like Allison Williams' character, even though she's a bit bitchy. You can tell that right away. The foreign girl, I couldn't really get much of a grasp on. She seems kind of aloof. And then this chick was she's kind of awkward, and she's just very struggling with the whole financial element. So one thing I want to just test is the simple ability to do closed captions, so we'll see that going in episode 2. But it passes the grade of C with a B, so there's no problem there. Character dynamics interesting. You want to see what happens with the pregnancy. You want to see what happens with the breakup with Allison Williams, even though I kind of like the boyfriend. So I'll go over a character point system overall. If they do something notable, positive or negative, you get a plus or a minus, so we can tally those together at the end of the series. So most of them are going to be neutral. Like, the parents are just neutral, whatever. They have a point, but they're doing it a bit abrupt. Nothing crazy there. So I'll only mention the ones that really do something notable. Allison Williams was good on the bed coaching her, telling her to talk to her parents. So that's a +1 for sort of leadership and, alpha vibe that she's giving off, really having a sense of direction, right? That's a +1. The -1 is with her overall bitchiness. She's always complaining, always bitching, ungrateful for a nice boyfriend, whatever. She seems like a little high maintenance, bitchy about a lot of things. So that's a -1 in that whole episode overall. In particular, the moment of, whatever. She's bitching in the bathroom, she's bitching at the dinner table, whatever. So that's those even each other out. So she's at 0 points, but it's at least worth noting that she would be +1, and then she goes -1, so it evens itself out. The foreign girl, again, aloof, kind of middle of the road, doesn't really do anything. And then the other girl, I'm going to give a pass. I'm going to give her a pass because it would be a -1, And I think I almost was going to give her a +1 for her performance, like in the bedroom, try to guilt trip them. But it's the fact that she should pull herself up by the bootstraps, she should work at McDonald's or wherever, do whatever she's got to do. The only objection I have is that, yes, she should do those things, but the abruptness of the way the parents did that makes me give her a pass. Like, okay, she's okay being a bit distraught, maybe she's been spoiled, but it's hard to change from that. You should have eased into it if you're the parents. You should have done it from a long time ago. You should have already discussed it. It should be a familiar topic. None of those things seem to be the case. Maybe we'll see some flashbacks or reference that would show that, but basically it felt very abrupt. So even though I agree with their core point that yes, you should get a job and figure things out, doing it in that way gives her a pass that, okay, it's neither a plus nor a minus, but she does have to figure things out. So the only notable character who has a +1 then is Allison Williams' boyfriend, Marley's boyfriend, where he's able to be positive in the face of an insult. That's kind of a big characterizing moment, and he's just generally very positive. He seemed like she was bitchy and negative. He was positive and perky and enthusiastic about every little thing, and very, again, he gets insulted like, oh, you know, he has to see what sex is like. He has to at least hear about it if he's not going to have any, as if to imply that him and Marley are not really doing it. But the beauty of that is that he doesn't, not only is he not bothered by it as an insult that it is the way that she was about to be bothered by it, but he actually takes, oh, he's just trying to help. Like, that is an amazing moment of clarity that, like, maybe she's the issue. Like, oh, she's so negative and he's so positive. Maybe he's the one who ought to break up with her. So that's the +1 system that we have here. And so, yeah, it was good. And we'll look at episode 2 then the next time on one of these driving sessions. And again, I'll just look at the little, look at whether I can do closed captioning or not. And we got this weird sideways angle of the phone that certainly had some difficulty with it, but it worked for the most part, I suppose.